he must not know what he's talking about. But if I look disheveled,
reading the news.
I get all kinds of knowledge.
No, I just want. It's not that you don't know.
Like, how is that right?
It's not implied that you don't know what you're talking about. It's just you're the TV guy needs to be well presented, and the sports writer. I want the sports writer like up till 1 a.m, like really diving into research, like coffee a little too late at night.
3 a.m.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Wildy, I can tie a hell of a half Windsor, but I don't know a thing about too deep safety coverage. That's the trade-off in life.
Well, first of all, I am schlubby. I'm fine with that. That's very fair. I do not have to wear a suit and tie. I have a number in various shades of my Channel 3 quarter zips.
Those
they
are
have
nice.
been great to me there.
Yeah, those are nice.
So I have 5 colors. I have gray, navy, royal
like
blue, black.
A pit crew guy.
Yeah, it's great. So I'm happy about that. You know what we could do? We could have a little fun with this. I posted my report from Lambeau from Monday night, which, and I think John will appreciate this. I was filming. I basically break it up into 3 segments. It's my intro, then we have a sound on tape. Then I have my outro, which is what I'm told is the term. And then I also do a separate one for our affiliate in La Crosse, Eau Claire area. As I was finishing my intro inside Lambeau Field, I'm learning how to frame things up, but over my one shoulder was the Bob Harlan graphic up on the scoreboard, and over my left shoulder was the spot that they're going to put Bob Harlan's name where Ron Wolf's had been alongside Ted Thompson's before it was moved into the Ring of Honor where all the Pro Football Hall of Famers are. And literally in the last 5 words, they turned off the lights. Like every single light, the scoreboard, all of the stadium lights all went out. And it was actually on like take 4 or 5. And it was finally a good one. So they had to cover up the last 5 seconds because everything just went out.
Yeah.
So we could have you critique that a little bit later and see what the professor has to say about it. I'm going to have to ask you a follow-up, though. You said your son is following in the business. Yeah. Tausch is a big anti-nepotism guy, and I have often tried to explain to him that a lot of times children of people who, whether they do this job or some other job, like, they just really love what their mom or dad does. And they're naturally, like Sally Jenkins, for example. Like, if Sally Jenkins couldn't have written her own name, it wouldn't have mattered if she was Dan Jenkins' daughter. And so, for me, like, again, I don't know if Sid's going to stick with this. It was pretty fun to hear her say that, and she did her career report. She used Charles Robinson because I was not allowed to be the interviewee for that. So she went to Uncle Charles from Yahoo Sports. Yep. But how does it make you feel that your son is wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Well, I don't know if he wants to follow my footsteps because I don't want him to stay up that late. No, I was shocked.
Hoping the game in Seattle doesn't go extra innings kind of a thing?
Yeah. I told somebody one time that if I ever die on set and they do an autopsy, they're going to find it's Luis Sojo's fault and he killed me with a inside out single in the 12th inning to keep a game up, and it was probably off Rob Nen, and that's what finally did me in.
Rob Nen.
So those guys were just disaster while you're waiting. Honestly, I was really surprised because we had never once talked about it. He went to school at Arkansas. Obviously, if he'd been a journalism guy, he would have been at Missouri. He went to school at Arkansas. Started off as an engineering guy, then tried kinesiology. That didn't stick. And he's like, Dad called one day, like, I really want to do this. I'm like, oh, have at it. So it was very much a surprise. Because in high school, literally the one time we talked about it, in high school, I said, hey, dude, I don't know if we never talked about it. I don't know if you're thinking about doing what Dad does, but if you do, maybe kick back that AP physics and mix in a literature course or something. Because he was just this math and science kid. He's like, no, Dad, this is totally fine. And he, lo and behold, and then he found a job, and of all places, he's the weekend guy right now to start at the ABC station in Columbia. Came back one day. He said, I went to shadow this gal, and by the end of the week, he had a job there, which was stunning. But I'm glad for him. I will say this about the nepotism thing, okay? This is what I always think is kind of odd. Nobody minds that Patrick Surtain is in the league again. People like Ken Griffey Jr. or the Boone brothers. And if you go to Wilde and Sons Plumbing, we're super happy to tell you about the 102 years we've been in business, right? Or if you go to Nelson and Sons Roofing, or car dealership, like we herald that. That's great. Oh my God, he's carrying on the family business. My two brothers took over my dad's construction company that built basements, and they were like, "Cool, we'll stay there. If they're Wally's kids, they must know what they're doing." So I don't always understand why that. And in our business, if I help get, and I don't really know that I helped get his foot in the door in this one, but even if I did. Like after a while, if you can't play, they'll get rid of you. Right. So at worst, you bought the kid a year. And after that, they're going to go, yeah, that's nice that you're, like if Joe Buck couldn't play, it wouldn't matter that Jack Buck was his dad.
Or Noah Eagle, who's really good.
Super good. Yeah. Marv Albert's kids are good. But if you can help them a little bit, I have no problem with that. If somebody had called us and said, yeah, hire this kid. But I just think it's often funny what we enjoy where it's passed down. Like I said, my dad's construction. If you get Collins Construction, man, that basement's going to be good. And by the way, if he had passed it down to me, that would have been another story. So you also have to have some modicum of ability. Like, yeah, this kid could maybe pour a rectangle basement, but if you want a window in it or a piece of brick, you better call his brothers. So I don't know that it translates all the way. It doesn't just necessarily rub off on you.
I agree with John Anderson's take. And with that thought, I'm Jesse LePay. Back to you, Jason.
We will find out more about John Anderson will grade my basement and its construction a little bit later in the program, along with that stand-up from Lambeau Field. Jesse has a really good idea that he put together, in part because I didn't send him my ideas early enough. He's going to try and work in my ideas that I also sent along. But this is a really fun idea. We're playing off John's role as the Leonard Golden son, endowed chair of the journalism department in the radio and television something or other. We're going to have the professor grade some of the Packers off-season moves. Now, I do want to plant this seed with John because I asked Brian Bulaga this question yesterday, and I want to do it throughout the week. And since we don't have a full-fledged cousin sub tomorrow, Jesse will get the chance to answer it. And then sources tell me a Pro Football Hall of Famer is stepping into the breach on Friday. So we've got some great cousin subs all week long, including John. But I want John to think about what is the thing right now on March 25th, 2026, year of our Lord, do you feel best about when it comes to the Packers? And what is the thing that concerns you the most about this team? There's the draft still. There's a later wave of inexpensive free agency. I like to call it the Devondre Campbell wave. So there are some other ways to improve your roster. But as of now, how do you feel, both good and bad? We'll also take your thoughts on that on the Carbless Talking text line via the text portion, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. More with John Anderson, our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The Brew Crew are back on March 26th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they open up the season against the Chicago White Sox.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
Brewers opening day is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in March 26th at 1:10 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee or check your local listings to watch the game.
It all started with a small storefront and a big promise. Treat every customer just like family. For decades, local families have trusted Sendix to provide the freshest food, the warmest smiles, and a place where community comes first. From generation to generation, we have grown together. Because Sendix is more than just a grocery store. It's home. Thank you for allowing us to serve you for the past 100 years. Here's to the next 100 years. Sendix, your trusted local grocer.
March into big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Refresh your home this season with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, beautiful new siding, or a stunning bath remodel and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during their March savings event. But this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
This is Coach Greg Gard. I've lived my whole life in Wisconsin, and I know what people here value: hard work, honesty, and looking out for one another. That's exactly how Bank CMG approaches banking. They combine hometown values with modern tools to help people make confident financial decisions. When you want a bank that understands where you're coming from, Bank CMG makes sense. Visit bankcmg.com or stop by your local branch. Let's get to work.
Let's celebrate Milwaukee. Ewald Automotive Group's 62-year anniversary sale is on. This month, we're celebrating with anniversary savings on over 1,400 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Payments as low as $250 a month. Financing as low as 0%. Plus 2 years of included maintenance on us. The Ewald Automotive Group's 62-year anniversary sales event. This month only at every Ewald location. Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Select models with approved credit. See dealer for details. Expires month end.
Don't miss a moment of the basketball tournament action this March at 3rd Street Market Hall. Home to your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination, 3rd Street Market Hall has over 20 locally owned food vendors, a self-serve beer wall with 24 beers on tap, over 50 HD TVs, and of course, game day specials. It's the perfect place to work remotely or catch a game between meetings or over lunch. 3rd Street Market Hall is the downtown home to basketball this March.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Game Night, so for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Continuing with John Anderson, our cousin sub of the day. And the Leonard Goldenson Chair of Radio and Television at the
Endowed Chair.
Endowed Chair. You know, I'm going to get that by the end of the show. It's almost as long as the title that DeMarcus Covington has as the outside linebackers coach, defensive run game coordinator, and assistant head coach / defense for the Green Bay Packers. We'll just call him our cousin sub of the day. Cousin subs, we believe in better. All right, Professor. Jesse has cobbled together, and we're going to kind of combine a few of them into singular segments as we go through this, because I do want to get to a few things, including my question that I asked you. But we start, Jesse, do you have some sort of like music that would be appropriate of like a professor, you know, grading papers, Do you have any music that would be that would fall under the royalty-free umbrella that you could use for something like this?
Yes, I got in a little early today, knowing John was going to be our cousin sub of the day, and we were going to do this exercise, and I did come up with some special music that we can use just for this segment.
Indeed.
Get Boomer's NFL Live. Get Tom Jackson in there as the sub of the day.
That is a joke that Jesse loves to make. All right, Jesse, what is the professor grading first?
All right, first up, Rashawn Gary being traded to the Dallas Cowboys. That's how the offseason really got kicked off for the Green Bay Packers with their moves here this offseason. Seth Walder over at ESPN.com grades that as an A trade for the Green Bay Packers. A boon, a superb business move by the Packers to get a 4th-round pick in exchange for Rashawn Gary. John Anderson, Professor John Anderson, Jason Wilde, do you agree with the A grade that the Packers get for trading Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th-round pick?
That they got anything for him, yes. So I would say that that's a bonus. I still would like it to have been Lucas Van Ness, but I understand the economics. If I can only have one disappointing 1st-round draft pick edge player on my roster, I'll take the cheaper of the 2 disappointing edge player number 1 picks on my roster. So economically, that works. It's maybe somewhat of indictment of the original pick. That although, listen, can we give bad grades to any time a guy signs into a second contract, right? So he made it too deep. So I'm willing to, at least get the extension.
Maybe the argument is the only bigger mistake than drafting him 12th overall was giving him a second contract.
Second bite of that apple that maybe you didn't need. I think maybe that if he has the tutelage of Kenny Clark, that'll turn him around. Except he had that for a long time, and that didn't turn him around. So I'm glad that the Packers are sending most of their defensive line to the Cowboys. But yeah, that you could get a 4th-rounder for him. I'll take that and the cash back in any day. I do think that was maybe not a coup, but I think that's a relatively good ending that you could hope for. Especially considering, didn't the guy like 3 days before text like, "Hey, I'm leaving anyway," and so you still managed to swing a deal for a guy who had cleaned out his locker. And once it's tweeted or once it's on social, it's true.
Well, he was hacked.
Yes.
I mean, again, let's report the story accurately. He claimed
AI.
he was hacked, along with the AI graphic that someone else made, not him, of course.
Well, at least, hey, listen, whoever did that had their finger on the pulse of what's happening. No, that's at least that guy had good information when he hacked.
Yes, because that's what hackers generally want to do, is announce your departure from your current team. That's the nefarious activities that they're planning. As the professor's teaching assistant, I always wanted to be a TA, but I never went to grad school, so I never really got the opportunity. I agree wholeheartedly. The fact that they got something for him makes it a B grade. The fact that it's a 4th-round pick, which TJ Lang was a 4th-round pick. David Bakhtiari was a 4th-round pick. Zach Tom was a 4th-round pick. Romeo Dobbs was a 4th-round pick. I can go on. And TJ Lang, did I say him already? They have a lot of success in the 4th round. And so to get a 4th-round pick, even if it's in 2027, for a guy that had announced his departure, the professor's right. That is an A grade for me as well. All right, we've got more grading for the professor to do. Jesse has put out the syllabus. See what I did there?
I'm not going to play this music for every segment that we're doing this. That might get old real fast.
I'm not going to make this music joke repeatedly, but we all know what your shtick is. The good people of the YouTube comments, they get it. They understand the joke there. They're on board with you now. Although your buddy Levi, who stole
Levi
your mouse,
like it. Yeah,
he doesn't like it. But again, he's a little squeaky wheelish at times. All right, we're gonna get to some more grading for the professor. after I tell you that you don't need to hop on a plane or board a cruise ship to feel like you've escaped. Your next getaway is waiting in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Start with the stay. The biggest hotel rooms in Milwaukee, nearly 500 beautifully designed rooms and luxury suites that are perfect for a weekend reset, a date night, or celebrating something big. And you're just steps away from everything that's happening inside. And if you're hungry, you've got so many options. Premium steaks at Dream Dance Steakhouse. Pizza, burritos, and quick bites at the Marketplace. Rockin' Brews for that high-energy vibe, and the Wildy recommended salmon. Canal Street Cafe, Ruyi Asian Kitchen, Cream City Coffee Company. There's food and drink specials happening all the time. And if you're planning a wedding, a birthday, or an anniversary, their event spaces are built to make it unforgettable. Sophisticated relaxation, incredible flavor, and a full night out all in one place. Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More with our cousin sub of the day, Cousin Subs. We believe in better. It's the Professor John Anderson on Wildy and Tausch.
Wildy and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Hey Tom, I want a new hoop for the kids. Any ideas?
Yeah, I got mine from Precision Sports over 10 years ago. They helped me choose the right hoop, installed it, and even painted my court lines.
Nice. How do I reach them?
Easy. PrecisionSportsOnline.com for a free quote.
A question I'm often asked, if I've been hurt in an accident, should I call a lawyer?
Pat Dunphy, Canada Dunphy.
If someone caused your injury, you need advice from an experienced lawyer on how to preserve evidence, document your losses, and protect yourself from the insurance company. But why can't I trust the insurance company? Despite clever, funny insurance company ads, they're in the business of making money. Paying as little as possible to you is good business for them, but not for you. I'm Pat Dunphy. Call Canada Dunphy.
There's nothing like Milwaukee Bucks basketball at Fiserv Forum. The dunks, the defense, the roar of 17,000 fans. It's even better when you're with friends or family. From jaw-dropping plays to buzzer-beating threes, every game is packed with unforgettable moments that you'll get to share together. So gather your crew and get your single game tickets today at bucks.com/single. That's bucks.com/single.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Buying or selling a home isn't just a transaction. It's one of life's biggest decisions.
That's why clarity, trust, and the right guidance matter, especially in an ever-changing market.
I'm Tony Wendorf with Tony Wendorf & Associates, powered by Keller Williams.
I'm John Lorenz.
And I'm Taylor Mangini. Our team delivers a white glove experience at every price point, combining expert negotiation, local insight, and genuine care.
Get started today with a team you can trust at wendorfteam.kw.com.
Tony Wendorf & Associates.
Driven by faith, gratitude, and results.
Let's talk about Home Turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
What if you could have a spa-level sweat session at home for about 25 cents a day? That's why I love my infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. You can check them out in person at the State Fair Park Expo Center's Home and Garden Show, March 20th through the 29th. It's the perfect chance to step inside, compare models, and even ask questions. Good Health Saunas has been doing this for more than 20 years, and they back it all with a true lifetime warranty, which was huge for me. If an infrared sauna has been on your list, find Good Health Saunas at State Fair Park, March 20th through the 29th.
If you're responsible for how money moves through your business, you won't want to miss this. Fifth Third Bank invites business owners, CFOs, controllers, and finance leaders to join us Tuesday, April 28th at St. Kate for a special event focused on the future of automated payables, integrated receivables, and modern cash management. Hear from industry experts on the latest technology, trends, and strategies, helping businesses improve efficiency, strengthen controls, and accelerate cash flow. Reserve your spot today by emailing rsvpmilwaukee@53.com. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNWisconsinContests.com.
That's ESPNWisconsinContests.com. This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Since home. We roll on with the professor, John Anderson, and our grading system. Now, my understanding, Jesse, and I don't want to accuse you of academic fraud or plagiarism, because that is a serious allegation.
Very serious. I would never.
But my understanding is this may not have been a completely unique idea for you. And that one Seth Walder at ESPN, who we know him on this show as the person who provides bold takes in Rob Domofsky's stead because Rob wasn't bold enough, has graded all these maneuvers as well. Is that true?
Not all of them. He provided grades for 16 of them, including some trades. So like the Rashawn Gary trade, he said that was an A trade for the Green Bay Packers. Now, there are a couple of other free agent signings of note that Seth Walder graded as A signings. That includes a couple of familiar names. Malik Willis in his deal with the Miami Dolphins, joining Jeff Hafley as the new quarterback at Green Bay South.
Mm-hmm.
Rasheed Walker signing his one-year prove-it deal with the Carolina Panthers.
Did he grade Rasheed Walker, or did he grade the Panthers for signing?
I believe he's grading the teams in these scenarios.
Okay.
So he's grading the teams. Yes, I think it would probably be different if he was grading Rasheed Walker. And then the Cleveland Browns signing Elton Jenkins in free agency. All worthy of note because those are all players leaving Green Bay, and then the team signing them getting A grades for signing those players.
Wow.
What are we supposed to make of that?
That he's an easy grader like John Anderson.
Well, so that when the article came out, I don't know, a week or 10 days ago, early on in free agency, it struck me because I usually, I read the content. By the way, did you say Rob was not bolder or balder enough?
He's certainly one of those things.
And I was reading, like 3 of the first 5 there's Malik Willis and there's Walker, and then saying like, wow. What does that say about the Packers front office? What grade are they getting that they're just letting these guys walk out the door, understanding that there are financial concerns and all these other things that have to do? It's a puzzle piece, or it's a puzzle and a lot of different pieces. And so I realize what you would like to have and what you can have are all kinds of different things. But I did think, wow, everybody that walked out the door, apparently you get a prize, although Quay Walker was nowhere to be found on that signing for these guys. And I just thought that's, is Malik Willis an A? Like he was an A for the Packers in that role. Is he an A for your 17-week starter? I don't know that's a pretty bold projection for him, especially if you get him away from LaFleur and those offensive coaches. And now you got a defensive guy, and who does he bring into, the care and feeding of him? So that's kind of, you wonder. Walker, maybe I can buy that. The Panthers can use a guy, and he's much healthier than what they have, so that's an upgrade. Jenkins, was it just injury and the disastrous position move? Can he become what? I didn't think any of those were slam dunk A's when they were the way Seth put them out there.
Well, I think the Dolphins and look, I have admitted many times I really like Jeff Hafley. We have a great relationship. Still waiting for my BC hoodie. But I think what the position they're putting Malik Willis in, it would be kind of like taking your class and then having a bunch of ne'er-do-well troublemakers in the class interrupting the lecture every day, because they have like $170 million in dead cap money. They are carrying all of that Tua money, an NFL record for dead cap money. They're trading guys left and right. Like, you don't think Jalen Waddle would have made Malik Willis a more effective quarterback in his first year in Miami? They cut Tyreek Hill. Like, I'm assuming that they are playing the long game with both Malik Willis and with Jeff Hafley. They've given, John Eric Sullivan the full autonomy of the football operation, or at least as high as that can go with an owner like Stephen Ross. But the bottom line is that it sure feels to me like they're taking a gap year trying to figure out how they're going to win football games in 2027, because, and let's be honest, it's a page right out of the Goody playbook. Going young, they've stockpiled a bunch of draft picks, and they're eating all the cap money from their quarterback, just like Goody did in 2023. And I think they're hoping, although I think it's tougher in the AFC, to be able to do what the Packers of 2023 did. Have a bunch of growing pains early with their first-year starter at quarterback and a bunch of new guys. And then in the second half of the season, things kind of coalesce, and you're in position to make the playoffs toward the bottom of the pecking order. So I don't know what they're expecting of Malik Willis. I would not have given that an A, and I love Malik Willis. There's not enough evidence from his previous school to believe that he's going to get an A in that class. He did very well when he was a substitute, a cousin sub, if you will. But I don't know about that one.
Anybody can do it for 3 hours on one day, but
right?
But can you do it? Can you do it 5 days a week? 12 months out of the year, minus whatever it is, 4 Fridays when you got to go see your daughter play in games.
And to your point about the Rasheed Walker signing, to get a guy who started 50-plus games, including playoffs, for 1 year and $4 million when your franchise left tackle tore his patellar tendon in the playoff game, and Yosh Nijman unexpectedly retired on you, I would say that is an A signing, because you got starting caliber for pretty much bargain basement money. And is he Joe Thomas? No, but he is more than serviceable. So that one I think deserves an A. I'm eager to see what Elton Jenkins looks like in Cleveland. I really am, because I do, I think he thought he was going to be a good center. We heard Goody talk about how he could be a all-pro, Pro Bowl center. That did not materialize. And I will never forget him not only saying, "I've played like beep," when I asked him how he felt like he was playing, but when he talked about how his style of play, and that it was Kenny Clark during training camp before the Micah Parsons trade who had explained it to him that, look, at guard, man, you are used to firing off the ball and getting after me right away. And when you do that at center, you're off balance, and I'm able to take advantage of that. You need to let me come to you more, which I thought was a really cool interaction between two guys that have been teammates for a long time, and now neither of them are on the team. Again, it was almost you thought he was going to be able to do that, but he wasn't. And if I were a betting man, I would predict he goes to Cleveland and plays left guard and plays at a really high level, because he's only viewed as old in Green Bay. He's 30, so he's got plenty of good years left in him for the Browns. So I don't know what that grade should be, but it should be, C's get degrees, but I think it's probably a little bit higher than that at least. All right, we want to get you back on the grading bandwagon for some of the other Packers moves here. We will do that coming up after I tell you about what we've got right now on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Right now on Behind the Bucks, it's the Bucks Take on the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens. So you can tune into that, and you can tune into it in a variety of places. Of course, you can start with the ESPN Wisconsin app, which I extol the virtues of all the time. But you can also find it on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your other podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. The professor grades the Javon Hargrave acquisition and a few others. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. National Player of the Year.
Left hand, and the game is tied. Kids magical.
Wisconsin legend.
Dump it inside. Dump back in. It's Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky joins KBN.
Who was your favorite teammate of all time?
See, it's a baiting question because you want me to say you.
On the Yingling Legends Line.
No, I'm not.
But
no, it's not. It's not me.
You were annoying to play with.
Yingling, America's oldest brewery, now available in Wisconsin. D.G. Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Make your next meal Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken. Right now, get a crispy chicken sandwich, regular or pepper jacked, for just $3.99. Feeding the crew? Grab an 8-piece bone-in fried chicken for only $9.99. And don't forget to dip it in Quick Trip's No Ordinary Chicken sauce. Short on time? Order ahead with the Quick Rewards app and make it fast. Stop in today for your No Ordinary Chicken. Crunch outside, tender inside. Only at Quick Trip.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Spring is here, and living with your old, drafty, foggy, dirty, hard-to-open, bad windows is no longer an option. You deserve better windows and doors. At Siding Unlimited, we install top-of-the-line wood, vinyl, and fiberglass windows with options to fit your style, color, and design choices. Built for energy efficiency, installed by our professional craftsmen at Siding Unlimited. Siding Unlimited. Experience, integrity, craftsmanship. Visit sidingunlimited.com today.
From office lunches to family celebrations, Cousin Subs has the crowd-pleasing catering you need. Choose from customizable party boxes, individual box lunches, fresh-baked cookies, and our classic party chips. Everything you need to satisfy any size group, big or small. Ordering is easy online or on the Cousins app, so you can focus on the fun, not the food. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Hi, I'm Greg Fritsch, president of the Center for Veterans Issues, inviting you to get involved in supporting the CVI mission. The Center for Veterans Issues is proud to serve veterans across Wisconsin. Each year, we help more than 1,200 veterans stay housed, find meaningful employment, and connect with the support they've earned. From housing assistance and job training to case management and suicide prevention outreach, our team is here to help veterans build stable, independent lives. If you're a veteran in need of support, visit cvivet.org. Donations can also be accepted at cvivet.org/donate.
Make your fitness goals last with Johnson Fitness & Wellness, the largest specialty fitness retailer in the country with 5 locations in the Milwaukee area. At Johnson Fitness & Wellness, you'll find top-rated treadmills, strength equipment, ellipticals, bikes, and more, all guided by certified fitness experts who match the right equipment to your goals, space, and budget. And with white glove delivery and installation, plus flexible financing options, you can build your home gym with confidence. Visit one of their stores today or online at johnsonfitness.com.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but the way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Class is back in session. Jesse has more term papers from Seth Walder, who he plagiarized off of, for the professor to grade. Jesse, I turn it back over to you.
Javon Hargrave is the next one. John Anderson is our cousin sub of the day. Javon Hargrave, 2 years, $23 million for a player who will be 33 years old when the season kicks off. That is unfamiliar territory for Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers. John Anderson, this was not graded by Seth Walder as an A, so that means he must not think it, because he only graded the A's. He shared what all of his A moves were, so he must think it's a B, C, D, or F. So what do you grade the Javon Hargrave signing away from the Vikings to the Packers for a 33-year-old defensive tackle?
Well, first, let me say, there's no accusation of academic fraud here at all. When he put that out, he did say that Seth, you were open. You said Seth had graded this today, where you got the material. So I think he properly cited his sources. So I don't think we should get down on the man for that.
So it's not academic plagiarism. It's more intellectual property theft, because you just stole the idea.
I mean, you don't think that let's grade things is that's what the whole internet is this time of year, right? Mel Kiper's grading everybody all the time.
There's a key word there. I don't do anything intellectual around here, Jason.
It's also fair.
Right,
fair point.
We've overestimated the value of that when it came through. Listen, I get he's a little older, but I only signed him for 2 years. That's fine. So I only need him to work till he's 35. And if that's the case, actually through age 33 and through age 34. So, and I don't care if he makes a single tackle. If he gets in there and he can just take up two bodies every play for 17 games, then any guy that can do that is worth $23 million over 2 years. That you took him away and the Vikings don't have him, that's totally fine. By the way, the Vikings got an A for signing Kyler Murray. I might argue with that one as well. But that might be a little overvalued. But I'll take that. One, you need bodies, but it's a guy that I think is quality. Yep, he's a little older, but that's okay. Just young horses run fast, but old horses know the way. And I think that guy in the middle right there can do some damage and tie up blockers. They're savvy at that age. I'm happy with that. Is that an A? I don't know that that's a full-on A. But considering need and the price you paid, I think that's that's above average. That's not in the meaty part of the bell curve. That's over on the right-hand side, solid B, maybe more, depending on what the production actually ends up being.
I like it. I like the fact that he had his most productive seasons when he was in Philly with Jonathan Gannon. I love the line that the professor had about old horses knowing the way. Here's the only issue that I have, and I hate horse racing, by the way. The Jerry Seinfeld bit that if they all knew what would happen if they fall and break their leg, they would not be running nearly as fast, and they would just say, I got my oat bag now. It's a great bit because I don't like. But I would say this, old horses also break down, and you don't quite know when they are going to fall off the table. And it's one thing for me to say Elton Jenkins just turned 30 on the day after Christmas. I think he's got a couple of good years left on the offensive line. Javon Hargrave is already 33. I think the 49ers saw a little bit of drop-off from him. I think the Vikings The Vikings, I think, wanted to keep him, but they had structured his contract in a way that they were in such cap hell they had to move on from him, and they could only restructure one, and they restructured Aaron Jones. But I think it's a good, solid B. And if he stays healthy and productive and does not drop off, he is exactly what they needed for a coordinator that knows his strengths and weaknesses. So I am a big proponent of that. I'm very curious, too, because I had somebody point out that I wasn't as enthusiastic, one of our fans, about Zaire Franklin. And I have a buddy in Indy who basically said, look, he's been a great player, but, you know, inside the building, they kind of were thinking he was falling off precipitously. That could be for a myriad of reasons, and lots of times guys get fresh starts. You know, he's a guy that's going to be 30 before the start of the season. He should have more mileage left, and I am hopeful that he is going to be a good player for them. I'm definitely not down on Zaire Franklin. I mean, the guy was a all-pro just 2 seasons ago. But I am curious to see if Indianapolis just evaluated him wrong to move on from him the way they did, just like I'm sure Cleveland is saying, yeah, the Packers played Elton Jenkins out of position. We think we're over the moon that we got this guy on our team because we think he's a good player that was miscast in his last year with his previous team. So I think I'm eager to see how both of those veteran additions play out. My question for you, John Anderson, is that, okay, Franklin's going to be 30. Hargrave is north of 30. I think Benjamin St. Juste is 29. They have committed to Aaron Banks, who is going to be 29 before the start of the season, for at least 2 years now, because they gave him $43 million in a 12-month span. So he's going to be on this roster this year and next year. Is Goody becoming a less ageist general manager, or why do you think that things are different with him?
Yeah, I was going to say, but you can't have everything. You can't keep having the youngest roster in the league and brag about that and then fall short. So maybe you need some value in what happens. To the point about, if you played, just to circle back a little about injury at age, and nose tackle is a place, right, where you get beaten down every snap. There is not a day off. There's not a down off. There's not where they run away from you on the whole play goes onto the left side and you're the right corner and you can stand there and tread water. Like every play you get hammered on. So, you get the increased chance for that to happen with those guys. Nose tackles and centers all come into the league at 6'3", and then when they leave, if they had a long career, they're 5'8", because they just get hammered on so much during those things. I do think maybe Goody thought we need some veterans. We need some people that know where they're going. Bring some leadership, right? Which I think that's what Zaire's thing. The folks I know in the Colts office were sad about that part. Yes, there may be some drop off, but they do think that, guy was a captain, locker room guy, that they think he brings some of that. So I think that has value to a point, right? Like all the leadership in the world can't make you run faster. But if it gets you 2 steps in the right direction, you can make up for the 1 step you lost in some of those situations. So I don't know if we have in any one year that you can make a distinction on, yes, he has changed his overall philosophy, right? I think one year can be an outlier, one year can be a blip, one year can be, it could be an experimentation project. It can be listed a lot of ways. If this happens in 2 more seasons, you're like, okay, I think there's been a shift in policy. Literally, he said with a pun.
I knew you knew what you were doing there.
No, really, just feel bad that actually came out. I hate puns and cliches, but anyway, that would get graded down a lot. Puns not good. Alliteration will get you killed. A lot of things I'm on the lookout for. So I do think it's a smart move given what's happened the last couple, which appears that all the youth in the building has not driven quite the results that you would like to see. And so if there's some positions where we can shore up and we can add some experience, to your point, right? Age, what's the other one they say? Youth isn't always a sign of innovation, and age isn't always a sign of wisdom. But I think they are, those guys that they've signed have a bit of a track record. So I think to interject that into the locker room, into the team, is worth a chance. And in all of these, none of these are break the bank kind of things. Right. None of them are long-term deals where you can suffer on the other side. And even if you look at the ones that we trumpet with Josh Jacobs and McKinney's the only one where they really went out and spent.
And wisely.
And that one has paid off. So I think given where they're at, this is a prudent move or a prudent exploration of this kind of style of roster building.
We will get further into the professor's grades, and then I do want him to grade me on my report from Lambeau Field after the Bob Harlan celebration. Now, if you are watching on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, you'll actually get to see the video of that. If you're listening over the air or in audio streaming form, you'll get the gist. You'll be able to hear me. We'll do that a little bit later.
Who are these two swingers introducing you?
One is Eric Franke, one of my longtime friends for the last 3 decades. He started out, as many do, as a sports guy who then moved over to the news anchor desk, like Bill Jarts here at WBAY in Green Bay, like now Chris Roth has done at WBAY, and then Sarah Carlson is the other one. She is phenomenal, and I'm a huge fan of her. She's so good at what she does. She was at the NBC affiliate when I was living in Madison, and now she's been at the CBS affiliate for quite a while, too, but she's phenomenal, too. So you're not critiquing them, you're only critiquing me, and we'll do that a little bit later in the program. The 10 o'clock hour with the professor. I'm not going through the entire DeMarcus Covington title again. He's our cousin sub of the day. The 10 o'clock hour starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal & Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal & Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies. They're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal & Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal & Associates at teamgrimal.com. Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wildy and Tausch, which will include a reunion of the dynamic duo of the Homer Hour, as Homer will join us at 10:30.
Oh, beautiful.
Like Peaches and Herb reunited, and they feel so good with John Anderson. That's coming up. Let's get to a couple more grades first. Not the video appearance, but we'll get to that later as well. But I'm intrigued by how intrigued you are by the Kyler Murray to Minnesota, which Seth Walder gave an A, because they did get him for pennies on the dollar, right?
Sure.
Because he's getting paid still by the Arizona Cardinals.
1 year, $1.3 million.
Right, because the Cardinals owe him a crap load of money.
26 million or something.
So, but you did not. You sounded, dare I say, a little skeptical on Kyler Murray. Is that an accurate depiction of where you stand on your expectations for him with the Minnesota Vikings?
Yeah, so the price is right. I get it. That's fine. And economics is so much of judging any transaction, I think, in not just the NFL, pro sports in general. But I've watched the guy a bunch, and tell me that he is 1 ounce better, improved in any one area from the day he stepped in the league. He's the exact same player they drafted, the Cardinals did, number one. He plays exactly the same way, and we all have our style, right? I'm not going to make Tom Brady into Fran Tarkenton, but he plays. I don't see any improvement or change or development in his game after 6 or 7 years in the league. Mm-hmm. He's the same guy, which means he can go out and athletically, some days he's going to win you a game because you're just going to be wowed. But am I going to consistently do that as I get older and had some injuries for 17 games? Now, maybe old Coach Kev, who's done some things, we thought, wow, he's a wonder. He's a QB whisperer because look what he did with this guy and Sam, but he hasn't been able to manage to do that with JJ. And they love JJ so much that they brought in Kyler Murray. So he, at some point, maybe even thinks he's at the end of his superpowers in which to develop that guy, in which case they gave that up. 10 games to get off the ground, 11.
Some pretty ugly moments, though, in those 10 or 11
some really
games.
ugly moments, which a lot of people would say you could have seen that coming, right? He had a great run at Michigan at the end, good team, senior, college, completely different kind of thing. Yep, I know Jim Harbaugh said he's the greatest quarterback he ever sees, but Jim will say that till whoever the next quarterback is, because that's what he does. He imbues his guys with that kind of confidence and talks them up. Good for him. But I just think Kyler Murray with the Vikings is going to be just like Kyler Murray with the Cardinals. And if he has a little better supporting cast, fine. But he doesn't always seem to want to use those guys. He wants to run around, and just because that's just his nature, again, style of play. And so I just think they're looking at more inconsistency of position. I don't know that he makes everybody around him or anybody around him better. So I just think they're set up for, wow, look at him, he looks great today, and next Sunday, why is that guy? Where'd he go? Right. He'll drive. He's gonna drive him mad. But for 1.3 million, certainly give it a shot. It's an upgrade. I just don't know that that's a guy that gets you deep into the playoffs or significantly better down the road of where you want to go.
Yeah, I think to your point, I think they are counting on Kevin O'Connell to make him something that he never was in Minnesota or in Arizona. I think they're, Kirk Cousins was at his best when he had KOC. Obviously, Sam Darnold was terrific when he had him. So I think that's the hope. But as we know, hope is not a strategy. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. But if they're right about him and he plays at a very high level, they have surrounded him. guessing Malik Willis might have had some interest in throwing to Justin Jefferson had that materialized for him. He's going to have some weaponry, as opposed to Malik Willis, who's going to be throwing.
Larry Fitzgerald for a little while. I get he was on the back end, but I don't know that he always listened to Larry Fitzgerald. And I think all I would do when I showed up in that building was listen to Larry Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have been like, can I sit next to this guy? Let me just locker next to him, and I'm going to just be quiet for months on end. you know, right? I'm asking a question, and so you're asking a guy 7 years in to make changes probably, and to listen when no one's gotten through before. And maybe this is his come to Jesus moment, right? Like, dude, they're paying you $36 million not to be here. That's what they think of you. And so maybe that gets your attention. But I look at some of that, like when they talk about quarterbacks who Tim Tebow, we worked all off season on his throwing motion. Great. And in 7-on-7 drills, it's awesome. And then what happens? Some guy with bad intention comes to the line and he throws like he always throws. And I think at some point that's going to be Kyler Murray. They'll do a bunch of stuff, man. But when a bunch of really mad guys come across the line with bad intentions, his instinct is going to be to do what he always does. Whereas the other two guys, Sam was desperate. He's looking to save a career. And Cousins was just, I think, Cousins has shown he's just a really smart guy and knows that if this guy can make me better, then I'll do that. And I just think he's a different kind of just athlete and quarterback at the position, right? I think he just eats that kind of stuff up. You know, that's a guy that could be a coach today.
Let me ask you one more quarterback question, and then I think next I want to talk to you a little bit about Bob Harlan before we get into our conversation with Uncle Homer. How do you feel about where the Packers are with their backup quarterback situation? You know, Desmond Ridder started a bunch of games in Atlanta. I think Kyle McCord is an interesting young project type quarterback, right? Started out at Ohio State, had a bunch of production at Syracuse, didn't really play for Philly in his rookie year. Philly, right? They would love to catch lightning in a bottle a second time like they did with Malik Willis and, the reclamation project of Desmond Ridder. What I don't like the idea of for a team that has precious few draft picks right now to begin with and is going to need the windfall of draft picks they will have next year with the compensatory picks and the Rashawn Gary fourth-round pick. What I don't think they should do is give up a draft pick to go to send to Indianapolis for Anthony Richardson. If they were to release Anthony Richardson, I'd be interested in them claiming him or signing him. But I don't think if the plan is to try and recreate the Malik Willis effect, I think you're not giving up another draft pick to do that. Where do you stand on where they are behind Jordan Love?
Why don't you go get Kirk Cousins? Just out of curiosity, might be a good guy to have in the building and help Jordan.
Well, because he's old, and we don't want old guys. We've already got too many old guys. We've picked up a couple of them.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's cheap and he can be there, and then you could turn him over. I'm with Anthony Rich. I'm with you. I would not spend money on Anthony Richardson right now. If he falls to me, great. Every time I look at him and watch him play, I think that guy could play any position on the field except for the one he's employed to play. Right? Like you just look at him and you're like, if we were on the playground, I'm going to pick you. And I don't even know what we're playing. We're going to play kickball, capture the flag. I want him. I don't care what it is. And then you watch him and Malik Willis beats him on the field when he's up against him when the Colts come to the Packer game. And I watched him enough in college, right? He's literally one of those guys that, right? Bill Parcells, one of his rules was like he wanted a guy to start 25 or 30 games in college, right? That was one of his things. Mm-hmm. And he's been this exact same player for the Colts that he was with the Florida Gators. Just this maddening amount of potential and then just offset with a maddening amount of just stupidity, which isn't to say he's dumb, just dumb plays and bad plays, right? I'm not trying to take a shot at his intelligence. So he's just awful. He's not even an enigma. He's what he is. And so they can't afford to go with that, and you get beat by a reclamation project and Danny Dimes. So if he comes around, that's fine. Ritter is okay. I didn't think he was a great college player. Hopefully the Fickle effect doesn't hit him when he gets to Wisconsin, because that doesn't seem to work so well. But he was a really serviceable guy. Clearly, the Falcons drafted him like he might have had something, but they drafted him what? He was a third-round guy. He wasn't a really high draft pick. He was a project for them.
Third or fourth.
I think he got thrown into a situation where he's probably not ready for. It's in my Missouri stumping. It's what's kept my man Blaine Gabbert out of the Hall of Fame because of how Jacksonville treated him when he got down there. So I think any young quarterback, you get thrown into this, you're not ready, you get overwhelmed, the team's not great, you get hammered, you suck, move, get out. So I think if they can rebuild his confidence, and LaFleur can, I think he's got some coach whisperer in it when it comes to quarterback. If he can do that, then I think actually not a bad guy to have in there in that role. I think he can, as it is, hold down the fort. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, Jordan Love's out for 12 games. Now I might maybe have to rethink that. But how do you define what you want that backup to be? Is it a guy that can go in and play for 16 games, or is he a guy that we hope so-and-so's back? I don't know that anybody has a great quarterback position, backup quarterback position, that when the guy goes down, we're cool for the next 12 weeks. I think that's, again, economics of the game to put somebody down there. So I like Ritter. I'd stay away from Richardson unless he comes for a song. And I would think we could get Cousins cheap. He's making a bunch. Just imagine if you had Cousins sub of the day. Like, the possibilities are endless. Just financially we could just, that would be, talk about a windfall for the advertisers of this program. A lot of different ways that works, but I know people chuckle, but I don't think he would be a bad addition if he can be, if that can be worked out. Then give me Ritter on a practice squad, because I don't think if you let him go, people are going to be rushing to sign him. I think you can stash him there for a while, and I don't need to. I know, didn't Goody say a couple years ago, right? He was like, I'd like to get back to that whole Wolf thing where we draft a quarterback every year and see what happens, right? They kind of tried that. Don't know that worked for what they had. So I'm willing to, especially in your talk about the lack of draft picks, I wouldn't spend one this year on one.
Since we're big on fact checking around here today with the professor, just wanted to let everyone know Desmond Ritter, 3rd round pick, 74th overall in the 2022 NFL draft by the Atlanta Falcons.
There you go. It's not as sexy to be the 74th pick anymore, because, remember how they famously say Bart Starr was a 17th round draft pick, right? He and Tom Brady were essentially picked about the same place, like 214, 215, 216, and Brady was a 6th round pick with more teams. It just sounds so much better to say he was a 17th round pick. In today's NFL, Bart would have been 6th round.
It definitely does. All right.
Greg wasn't a 1st round pick either. It's because there was only 4 of them. There were 5 teams maybe, and one of them was in Ottawa. So it changes up.
I want to get ready for Homer. I know you're excited to reunite with him. He's coming up at the bottom of the hour. I want to remind you, though, that Thanalysis Live is only 2 days away. It is Friday night, one of the biggest nights in Wisconsin sports, and we don't want anyone to miss out. So if you buy one ticket, ESPN Wisconsin is going to buy the other. Be there for the night that will have everyone talking. March 27th, that is Friday, at the Riverside Theater, Thanalysis Live with Ric Flair, plus Pat Murphy and The Miz the day after opening day. You don't want to miss that. All you got to do is go to TALiveshow.com to get your tickets, TALiveshow.com, and then enter the code that, much like John Anderson's title at the University of Missouri, is long, but it's worth it. ESPN WI BOGO. ESPN WI BOGO. Enter that at checkout, and then you will get your extra ticket for free. The stars will be out Let me do it one more time. Woo! And so should you. Buy one, get one for Thanalysis Live on Friday night at the Riverside Theater, TALiveshow.com. More Wilde and Tausch straight ahead. Stick around.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. National Player of the Year.
And the game is tied. Kids magical.
Wisconsin legend.
Dump it inside. The back in. It's Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky joins KBN.
Who was your favorite teammate of all time?
See, it's a baiting question because you want me to say you.
On the Yingling Legends Line.
No, I'm not.
What?
No, it's not me.
You were annoying to play with.
Yingling, America's oldest brewery, now available in Wisconsin. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, PA. Enjoy responsibly.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No, we'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
I wanted a new color printer to add pizzazz to my prints.
Ooh, pizzazz can be pricey.
Well, now at Staples, you get up to 30% off select HP printers.
30% off at HP?
Yeah, I saved $120 on an HP Smart Tank 6001 with up to 3 years of ink included.
Why, that could be the last printer you'll ever need.
Could be.
Shop your local Staples today for big savings on HP.
That was easy.
Available in-store, online, or on the app. 844 exclusions apply.
At Associated Bank, we know it's not always fun thinking about saving. You know what is fun? Not thinking about it. That's why we call it automated savings. You save automatically. How much you want, how often you want, for whatever you want. And if you don't know how much to save, well, that's why we're here. We'll suggest an amount so you hit your target without ever thinking about it. See, saving can be fun, especially when it's automatic. At Associated Bank, we get you. That's why we've got you. Learn more at associatedbank.com/YouGotThis. Member FDIC.
Hungry for something fresh and delicious? Get your favorites from Cousin Subs delivered straight to your door. From our freshly baked bread and hand-sliced meats and cheeses to our famous sides, crispy golden fries, Wisconsin cheese curds, or creamy mac and cheese. Every meal made to order and ready to enjoy. Ordering is quick and easy online or through the Cousins app. Whether it's a solo lunch, family dinner, or a spread for the whole crew, let us bring it straight to you, fast and fresh. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
The biggest day in baseball is back. Opening day returns to American Family Field on Thursday, March 26th at 1:10 p.m. when the Brewers take on the White Sox. Celebrate the return of ballpark dogs, famous racing sausages, tailgate days, and your favorite Milwaukee Brewers in action once again. This isn't just any game, it's opening day. Enjoy live music, a Brewers drum line, and more special events throughout the day. Get your tickets for opening day at American Family Field now at brewers.com/opening day.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
did you encounter someone with a Boston accent while you were away during the break?
I did
all
not.
Of a sudden, I got this Tom Brady talking in my ear.
Well, we're very excited in Madison. In college hockey, NCAA tournament starts tomorrow night. Wisconsin's playing Dartmouth in Worcester, Mass. in the opening round tomorrow night, so we got to watch that one. Ivy League. And then at the same time, Wisconsin's playing Dartmouth and Worcester, and then we got Harvard coming here to play Wisconsin in a WBIT women's basketball quarterfinal at the Kohl Center. So we got 2 Ivy League schools, one in Worcester, Mass., one in Madison. It's a big day tomorrow.
A quick question for you.
By the way, you know how you know that's true? You know how it's documented.
Documented, yes.
Documented. It's true. Go to the Duncan.
Quick question there, Tommy Boston. If Wisconsin wins the WBIT, will they finish still with a sub-500 record?
No, they would be at 500. They would be 17-17 should they win the WBIT. It would be a monumental achievement. Can you name any team in any sport, any level ever that lost 10 in a row to close out a regular season and then won 5 in a row to win a postseason tournament?
I cannot. No, it would be
any youth soccer team, any little league team, any team ever losing 10 in a row to end a regular season. Because I'm sure it's happened like to start a season and then you turn things around as it goes on. 10 in a row you lose to end a season and then rattle off 5 in a row to win a postseason tournament.
Packers tried it. They lost 4 in a row to end a regular season, and then they lost a 5th to the Chicago Bears. All right, John, before we get to Uncle Homer,
be nice
obviously,
to my former neighbor, by the way. Be nice to Robin. That she lived around the corner.
Is that right?
Yeah. Missouri. That was our coach for many, many years.
Yeah, she had him rolling for a while this year. Then just hit a snag. I think a Big Ten competition got a little.
What did they hit?
What did they hit? A little snafu.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to go Boston again. All right, so.
A little hot water there for Robin in the month of February, but they got back on track. Now they're going to beat Harvard here on Thursday night. They got a chance to win a WBIT.
There you go. You go, kid.
So you're a dyed-in-the-wool Packers fan. You grew up here in Green Bay. You're the pride of Green Bay Southwest High School. I don't know who your neighbors were growing up in Green Bay, in addition to Robin Pingeton, am I saying that correctly?
Robin Pingeton.
Around the corner in Columbia. But, being there on Monday, and this is the way I wrote it as well, like Bob Harlan didn't really care about whether or not people were saying lots of nice things about him. I mean, he was who he was. So it wasn't all the heaping praise for him that I think he would have parted the clouds and looked down on and enjoyed. What he enjoyed was probably seeing Judy from the mailroom and Lisa from the pro shop and Red Batty from the equipment room and all these people that were so behind the scenes vital to the Packers' success and were so dedicated to this team all together celebrating his life and catching up, and they hadn't seen each other in a long time. Mike McCarthy there, Ron Wolf there. It was really neat to see. I'm curious, when you think of Bob Harlan being a longtime Packers fan and being someone who cared so much about this team growing up and then in adulthood, what springs to mind for you, John Anderson?
So I have, I know Kevin a little bit because he was the voice of the Missouri Tigers right out of college. Helped a bunch of my friends. He's always been good with friends of mine that were in J school that call him advice. So I texted him a day or two after because I didn't want to pile on. But I said, I'm pretty sure that Bob Harlan is the third most important person in franchise history behind Curly Lambeau and Vince Lombardi. And I think those two are entrenched at the top. And you might argue at third, but I think he was, for guys that obviously were not actually on the field, his foresight with forcing through the penny sales tax and seeing what it needed to be and where the Packers were and kept them financially viable, even though Ed Policy says we're back in trouble again, or at least looming. But I do think, because people always thought, well, they'll never take the franchise away from us because it doesn't have an owner. They can't do that. The NFL would have taken the franchise away from Green Bay in a heartbeat. You've seen these guys. All they're worried about is the next dollar. And and I shouldn't say that. The next $1 billion is what they're worried about. And you see it every day in things that they do. Why are the Packers going after people that don't use their tickets a lot? Because the NFL feels like that secondary ticket money is theirs. And so with him, one, we hire Ron Wolf. That just pragmatically makes the team better, that starts this run of success. And then the foresight with Lambeau Field and realizing that that's got to be the ticket generator, that I got to somehow take games out of Milwaukee and satisfy that crowd to make this a financially viable operation. Literally, I think he saved the franchise in Green Bay, because I have no doubt we would be relocated somewhere. We might be the London franchise. But just like when people talk about our season tickets went up again, right? Like the 16th time in 17 years, I believe you wrote.
Correct.
Because I don't keep track of that, but you do.
I do.
Right? But it's worth it to see what that kind of thing is, right? But every time they said that, it's because the NFL, if you don't do that well enough, the other NFL owners can force you to raise your ticket prices to make you competitive, because they get a share of that. So as much as the Packers would like to go, we're going to charge $2 a seat, NFL won't let that happen. And the NFL would have very much stepped in and said, listen, we'll pay whomever it is. We will make restitution. Stan Kroenke paid $790 million in back money to get out of St. Louis. So they just, I don't know, Green Bay could have had a windfall. We'd have gotten $1 billion or something for it. But that team very much would not be here if it wasn't for Bob Harlan. So how do you overstate that? His importance to the franchise, right? He makes the whole Dan Devine debacle look great because Dan brought him up from the Cardinals, right? He brings him back. He's obviously familiar. He's an Iowa kid, and he goes to Marquette and worked there. But Dan Devine brings him back here. And so that's the best thing that happened out of the Dan Devine hire, was that Bob Harlan comes. And then I just think his steady hand in all of this, his demeanor, his willingness to literally call people back, right? And that was even before the penny sales tax, right? When they went and brought all the games here and they said it was you're going to get the second and the fourth game, or the second and the fifth. My buddy called him and said, you better not make the Bear game. And he called him back, talked to Byron and said, listen, we're going to try to protect that. Unless it's last year and you're going to have, or 2 years, you're going to have all the division opponents. But I just don't know. So Wolf saves the franchise, and then just the demeanor as the head of this franchise, sort of the class and the warmth in which he dealt with people, and as you could not have had just a better front man for that franchise in general. As human beings go, like, that's really important. Right? I think, without getting too political, part of the problem currently in the administration is like just the way the current president operates with other people is, just that kind of edge and meanness. And like, take the opposite of that. And that's how the Packers were fronted. And I think that made a great deal of difference in how they were. So I don't know how you overstate his importance to the franchise. I just don't think you can.
I agree, and again, you take the three-pronged decisions that he made, right? And remember, and Ron Wolf retold the story. It's one of my favorite stories of yesteryear. He comes here in January of 1987 to interview for the GM job when Robert Perrins is still the team president, and he knows right away that he's not going to have full autonomy over the football operation, and he and Bob Harlan waits to pick him up at the airport at midnight after his flight from Chicago is delayed. They end up sitting in a Denny's for several hours talking, and it is very clear to Bob Harlan that they are not getting Ron Wolf. They end up with Tom Bratz instead. Ron Wolf goes and continues his NFL career, and then when Bob is the team president in 1991, he has one person on his list. He's going to give him what he wants and what he needs. And lo and behold, 5 years after that, they're hoisting their first Lombardi trophy in 29 years. Hiring Ron Wolf begat trading for Brett Favre, begat hiring Mike Holmgren, begat signing Reggie White. All those things happened because Bob Harlan picked the right guy to run this woebegone franchise's football operation and gave him the tools he needed to do it. And then, obviously, as you mentioned, pulling the team out of Milwaukee, but bringing the fans with them. He always loved saying that. And then, obviously, the stadium referendum. I don't know what this town looks like if they don't win that. And let's not forget, I'm no political operative, but 53-47, I understand that's a 6-point victory. But do the math, a 3-point swing, and it's a dead heat. And you could have very easily lost. And I don't know what they would have done. They'd still be in that, well, they wouldn't be. They'd be in London. I think you're right about that. And they'd have that corrugated old stadium with the green metal on the outside, sitting dormant like Northridge Mall, or what was the mall downtown that they eventually tore down?
Port Plaza Mall.
Park Plaza. There you go. I think I bought a pair. Port Plaza. Yeah, I bought a pair of shoes there once. All right, we need to get ready for Homer. The reunion we've all been waiting for. How long have you been off that show now? A month? 2 months? It's been a while.
Yeah, maybe a month and a half. I don't know. And before I came down here, by the way, I'm not anywhere near campus, but that's great. When he called, he's like, I don't have a guest. I need you to come on. And I'm like, okay, but I'm going to get on a plane here or something like that. Like, you got to make it now. And then we couldn't work. So we tried this, but it's like getting the Beatles back together. It's very tough. We've got a lot of things going on. But I'm glad here today that we're able to make it work.
And to be fair, 2 of the Beatles are dead, and you guys are both with us. All right, well, we will make that reunion happen next after I remind you that Gruber Law Offices has your back if you've been injured in an accident. Hopefully you never have to make the call. But if you do and you have been injured, make the right call. One call, that's all. 414-276-6666. 414-276-6666. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. Homer joins us next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is ready to slip someone into a green jacket. The next tournament of the season's here, and there's $1,000 in cash prizes. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellison, inviting you to a 2-man scramble at Georgia Golf Club, all played on Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's spacious, state-of-the-art simulators. Sign up now at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. It's just $120 per team, and all teams must compete their round by March 31st. Who's walking away with the cash, and who's earning that green jacket?
Mark Tauscher here, and if you know me, you know I love Wisconsin. That's why I'm a UW Credit Union member. Their team's been all about Wisconsin since 1931, and they love making banking easy for members. Whether it's with their convenient mobile app or with the great perks like early payday to get you paid sooner. Stop by any of their local branches or visit uwcu.org to join and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Why DIY your frozen pizza toppings when Screamin' Sicilian already went over the top for you? We're talking whole milk mozzarella, heaps of premium meats, a mountain of veggies. Screamin' Sicilian is frozen pizza stacked, no add-ons needed.
Mamma mia!
Screamin' Sicilian, so loaded with toppings, it's almost cheating. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer section and taste what all the screamin' is about.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
The Bucks had a rough showing on Monday night as they lost to the Los Angeles Clippers 129-96. The Clippers were able to capitalize big time off the Bucks' mistakes with 26 points coming off of 23 Bucks turnovers. Here's what head coach Doc Rivers had to say on the loss.
Yeah, defensively we had a rough night tonight. Offensively as rough, it is what it is.
Up next for the Bucks, they will continue their West Coast road trip against the Portland Trail Blazers on Wednesday night. I'm Will Summers.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN, brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
Start your Milwaukee weight loss program now to lose weight fast. Many lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Call for your free consultation. 262-235-3980. 262-235-3980 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Hey, Mike, are you burning those burgers again?
Hey, it's flavor.
Every friend group has that one house where everyone ends up.
The snacks are out and the beers are cold.
And somehow, everyone's in the kitchen. At Professional Construction Inc., we design kitchens built for hosting.
Smart storage, beautiful finishes, space that actually works.
Because summer shouldn't feel cramped.
It should feel like this.
This summer, be the house that everyone gathers at.
Get started today at ProfessionalConstructionInc.com.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Whatever you do, make sure you do it right.
I'm glad this is royalty free. Although I did want to get a little Peaches and Herb together here, or maybe the Beatles. Which again, I don't know. Does that make you Ringo and Homer Paul McCartney? I'm not sure what that would be, but
I don't know that the comparison is person per person. It was merely bringing together of
more the super group of
Could be more, Martin and Lewis if you want to go there. I don't know, but it's
Smothers Brothers. Joining us now, he is the host of the Homer Hour, which you can hear each weekday at 5 p.m. You can also hear him as the voice of Marquette basketball, although not anymore this season because their season is over. And, of course, on God Talk, My Faith with Homer and Pip on YouTube. It is Steve the Homer True. Homer, say hi to 7-2.5.
Yeah, I feel bad because I wanted to come up with I was sick or something because I was listening, and it's better with him than it is with me. So I feel like I'm running in the 100-meter with Carl Lewis. Like, I'm sick. Can you just do the next half hour with 7-2.5? It'll be better.
No. Well, he makes everyone better. He's that kind of guy.
True.
He certainly
By
made
the
you
way,
better.
I just learned that Bill Raftery didn't get a chance to call his first Final Four on TV until he was 72. I got a chance.
True.
I'm just getting started. Watch my smoke.
You've already called a Final Four, though.
No, not on TV.
Oh, Well, maybe you should audit some of John Anderson's classes. Maybe you'll get there.
He's still doing it. By the way, I do want to credit John Anderson. He's right again. Bart Starr was pick number 200 in the draft, and Tom Brady was pick number 199. The round, as he stated, makes no difference. They're almost the identical story. What's that?
Did you doubt me, Homer?
Tauscher-
Is that why you went look? Did you want to look that up, or did you just not remember from draft day when Bart was
That's
picked?
been one of my favorite trivia things from long time ago, because as you alluded to, so I thought, man, that's 7-2.5. He didn't even study it like I did, but he's got it right. So,
Will, did I ever tell you? I know I've told Homer. Homer couldn't believe it. Did you know Bart Starr and I had the same coach?
I did not know that. Paul Bryant?
No, my coach at the University of Missouri, who's now 102 years old. He was did some student teaching, in Mobile. And at the high school, he coached the track team and a senior named Bart Starr. And then he eventually
did he
coached
say what
me.
Bart was in? What Bart's? I know he didn't high jump 7.2.5.
They just all ran around and stuff. That's how crazy he was. Yeah, that's what he claimed. Yeah, he coached Bart Starr.
So
Bart Starr and Zeke Bradkowski were incredible rivals. Did you know this?
Well, one was at the Bears, yeah.
No, long before that. They were battling it out in college as the top punter in the country. Bart Starr and Zeke Bradkowski were 1 and 2 in punting in the country one year.
And isn't Bart? Didn't he make the All Sugar Bowl team as a defensive back for having a couple 3 picks?
That I don't know. I knew you'd add more. I'm sure it's true. And I don't even know who won. Zeke was at Georgia and Bart was at Alabama. I don't actually who won that epic, historic battle as top punter in the country. Someone will have to look that up.
This is why Homer and I don't do a show anymore, because all we talk about is stuff from the 1900s.
Yeah, I was going to say, Homer's the one who calls Wisconsin's national title in basketball in 1941 the Old Testament. He does not view the 1977 Marquette national title as
Not
as
yet,
such.
but you alluded to it, and you're correct. It's moving in that direction. Yes.
Homer, I've been on with you multiple times since Bob Harlan's passing on March 5th, and you always ask me, and I share different stories.
Yeah,
and
I achieved one of my goals on Monday.
What was that?
I wanted to be the first person there at the church before they had visitation. So visitation started at 11.
Mm-hmm.
I got there about 10:30, and they had kind of started the line. Not really. His wife was there. And so I think I was not 1, but I might have been 2 or 3. So, and I did it partly because I wanted to see if Kevin Harlan would be there. He had just done the game the night before in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, I don't know what is he going to do. And there he is. And I went up and said, did you get a charter? Because, I mean, he's worked for every network. I thought somebody will charter him, right? His dad's funeral. And he goes, no, I just took a red eye. I thought, classic Kevin Harlan. Just a normal guy. Even for his dad's funeral, you leave at what, San Diego midnight or something, and then you get in at 6 or 7 in the morning. Isn't that how the red eyes work, I think, from the West Coast? Anyway. So I'm introduced to Bob's wife. I'd never met her. And I said, you don't know who I am. And then Mike Harlan said, yeah, she knows who you are, because I guess they'd listen to Marquette games. And so it was awesome.
So it was. I did not get to go to the visitation or the mass after the show got over with. I didn't make it over there, so I went to the later thing at Lambeau and got.
Awesome.
I heard Olivia Harlan Decker, beautiful singer, which I didn't know about. She sang at the mass and everything. I wanted to ask you, though, because you're always asking me about my interactions with him, and you know how much Bob meant to me. I am curious, what were your interactions with him? Because you and Dave Beagle were pissing off Bart Starr back in the day. I'm curious what your interactions were with Bob Harlan during your career.
And if anything he says, 7.2.5, you want to interject the inaccuracy of it, feel free to do so. No, I was not part of that Dave Beagle group. That was Cliff Crystal and a group that found out they were hiding Dwayne Thomas, I believe, at a hotel, and didn't tell anybody. Bart Starr did. But, yeah, they were historic for that. No,
you had your disagreements with Bart, though, when he was the coach.
Did I?
Yeah.
No
disagreements.
No, I said to him later on, I said, I was there your last year. I said, I swear you never smiled. I never saw you smile once. He goes, no, I smiled once in a while.
It was Forrest Gregg that you had your issues with.
Yes, Forrest Gregg, yes. Forrest Gregg did not like me. And I even went to Lee Remmel. And I go, what? He goes, don't worry, that's just Forrest. So he and I said, okay, that's fine. But I have Bob Harlan stories because I'm there. It's 1983, Bart Starr's last year. I'm driving from Appleton every day to get to every press conference. They didn't have as many back then. And I remember running into, I didn't know who Bob Harlan was. There was this guy who always wore a blue shirt and a tie. Now, I claim that's what I remember, and I had to ask somebody else because maybe I got it wrong. I was like, who's that guy? Well, that's Harlan. He does the contracts. And everybody said he was the greatest guy to deal with because he gave a ton of money to everybody. He was the nicest contract. I don't know if that was true. And so he wears a tie and a blue shirt every day, every time I ever saw him. And then he introduced himself, and he was just nice to everybody. And I told this to him, I would watch him when I was there. I mean, I'm surprised someone didn't say, are you stalking him? Because I thought he was so incredibly nice and treated everybody. But, man, I kind of want – is he like that all the time? Oh, I want to kind of be like that. And I watched everything he ever did every time I was there. And then he would do, he treated everybody well. Didn't matter who you are. He wrote other people letters and wished them. Anyway, and then when I became Homer, I called him up to interview him in something, and I said, hey, Steve the Homer True, and I got Bob Harlan. He refused to say Homer. He goes, Steve, it's great to talk with you. And I'll bet he said Steve 5 times just to make it clear, you ain't Homer to me, buddy. You're just Steve, because I remember you when you were a knucklehead in Appleton, Wisconsin. So the rest is history. And I don't remember who I was with, but there was a group in the media when they said, well, he's a candidate to be president. I said, there's no way he's going to be president of the Packers. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't even – no, there's no way. He's too nice. You can't be that nice and be the president. And a couple of other people all were in agreement. Yeah, I don't know who it's going to be, but it's not going to be him. Well, nice guys in this case didn't finish last. So, yeah, so that's.
So do you agree with the Professor 7.5's
yes, I do.
Opinion
Whatever he
that
said, I agree with.
He is the third most important figure in Packers history behind Lombardi and Lambeau?
Yes. That's why I want a statue. That's why this comparison with Ted Thompson is an embarrassment to the history and the importance of his role in the history of the Green Bay Packers. So somebody's got to do a statue. John Anderson, 7.5 is important enough. There's got to be a statue somewhere honoring the importance, as you just said, of Bob Harlan. And I know he would hate it. That's why I don't think they did anything. They gave him a what? A mall, an alley,
Plaza. Yeah, Robert E. Harlan Plaza. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right. Because I'm sure that's about all they would agree with. Well, if we get 7.5 behind this, that I think we get a statue in 7.5 and know the right place. Where should the Bob Harlan statue be?
Ooh, good question. Let's give the professor the opportunity to dictate that. He knows the streets of, not the streets of San Francisco, the other Bay Area, the streets of Green Bay better than I do. Where should we put the statue?
Yeah, because as you know, I'm from the hard scrabble streets of the West Side, which I forget. Back in the day, what was it? Only one side of Green Bay, one side of the river, could you sell liquor in the bars. Which side was it? I think maybe it was the east side. The only place you could have liquor.
I didn't realize that. I did not know that. Yeah. I learned something new.
Yeah, the west side was dry. Why don't we just put it somewhere where you walk into the Bob Harlan Plaza, right? We got the two big with Lombardi and Curley that are gigantic.
Yeah.
Two guys who didn't finish their career with the franchise. And why don't we make one for Biden? It can just be real size. It doesn't have to be giant.
I was going to say, I don't think he'd sign off on one the same size as that.
Yeah. And then just put it right there, kind of between the doors as you walk in the plaza, in the atrium.
I I am in full support of that. Homer is the one that was banging that drum, but again, they don't have a statue policy. Pardon the pun, as you like to say, since I'm not allowed to make those or use cliches. But Tausch's idea, when we approached him with this after Homer and I had this discussion on his show, he wants like a statue like the Yankees have the park or that area at Yankee Stadium with all the
Monument Park
monuments. Yeah. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah. That was the exact word I was looking for. So then you get into the discussion of who else would merit one, but I don't have a problem with Homer's opinion that he merits a statue. My issue is that the Packers don't have a track record. The only other statue they have, because the Bart Starr one is over by the Resch Center, the only other statue that they have on their property is the Lambeau Leap one, which doesn't have anyone other than some random fans that are fictional waiting for you to jump into the stands and have your picture taken with it. So this would be a change in protocol for them.
Yes, and if John Anderson 7.5 is the guy behind it, it'll have a lot of merit. So I don't know how we issue the press release that Professor John Anderson is asked, because I think it's a great idea. The statue gives importance, and then you have a plaque or something, the information, so that people need to understand who he was and how important he was, because it'll easily be forgotten. And this way it can't be, and it's at the plaza. I would actually like better. I'd like it be right near where the other two are, but I'll defer to that. In terms of the location, it needs to be as big, but just the different.
Oh, you
area.
do. You want him to be as large
yes,
as the other two guys.
Every bit as large. Yes, I would actually want 2 inches taller. No one would know. But I could say, just so you know, this is how important Bob Harlan was. His statue is the tallest of the three. That would be special.
Would he be in a blue shirt and a tie? I mean, if you're going to commission this, I think Lambeau's pointing.
I just want 2 inches taller. That's all. And you can take it from there. John Anderson can take it from there.
Real quick, though, because I am not always allowed to be a dedicated listener to this program. What did Tausch have to say about Harlan as a player? Like, did he know every guy? Did he have relationships with them? How did he treat the players when you're the big boss?
So I think he talked a little bit about that. What he talked more about was when the two of them, and again, Jesse, I wasn't on the day after he passed away, so I will defer to you. But I know one thing that Tausch would always talk about would be when he and Bob Harlan were together on the tailgate tour one year, and how enjoyable that was for him and how real Bob Harlan was. Jesse, I'll let you continue that.
Down to earth, one of the guys. The interactions while he was a player on the team weren't abundant, but you understood the impact that he had on the organization throughout, and especially as someone who grew up in Wisconsin and understood what it meant to be playing for the Packers and the success that the franchise was having under his leadership. That certainly was something that resonated really well with Tausch. So he shared that really well the day after it was announced that he had passed. And yeah, we took a lot of phone calls, and Mike Sherman joined and said a bunch of great things about him. And it was a powerful show reacting to all that news.
And then Mike Sherman called me to bust my chops for not being on the show that day when he was on.
It's fair.
Which I believe happened during the show as well.
Does seem to be a bad day to miss.
Well, as I told you, there was a gymnastics meet that day, and it was pre-scheduled, so it wasn't. They did not cancel that. So I
do have a question for the show, if I can sneak one in.
Well, yeah, your Uber schedule has changed, so go right ahead.
Yes, I want to know at what point in time did 7.5 address that Bill Self is apparently retired as coach at Kansas. And those who don't like him assume that he can no longer outpay everyone else for players because everybody's paying them. So he knew his time was up. I don't know if either the fact that he's now going to retire or because generally 7-2.5 doesn't have enough time in the day to say enough negative things about Kansas. But
I saw that he was leaning towards or contemplating retirement. I have not seen anything official.
Yeah, someone announced it today.
Well, then that's great. Hopefully that they'll find somebody who will be terrible, and I hope Bill has the rest of his life to go shoot 106 and lose every golf ball in the world every time he plays.
Keep going.
It's good that
more.
now
Keep going. You got more.
Yep. He doesn't have to worry about being hoodwinked by Adidas anymore for actually paying those players that aren't any good. That was too bad because, Adidas, they were responsible for a lot of the bad things that happened to Kansas.
Oh, didn't know.
Yeah, and then of course naturally they re-signed for like 12 years and $280 million with them. So that's too bad.
One of his last great purchases was reportedly, can't verify, that he gave $1 million to who's the kid that was at Wisconsin and left because he wanted more money. AJ.
Oh yeah, and
Store? AJ Store. Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, and he didn't even end
bench.
up playing at Kansas. He left there, but his mom got him, I think, 7 figures. But
yeah, played about 8 minutes a game. So, but they'll name something after him. And
statue, perhaps.
Yeah, he's got a lifetime. He had a lifetime contract, and that lasted about 4 years. So that's good. We should all have that kind of life expectancy. Here's the problem I have with Bill, is that he and my wife were on the Spirit Squads together at Oklahoma State. I first knew him when he was an assistant at Oklahoma State. So I've always enjoyed Bill. He's a nice guy. He's like the rest of them. He lives in the gray area, and Kansas has never committed a foul and all those other things. But I like to think that I knew the guy from way back when. So I never root him to have success, but I also don't root the worst of ill will. Like the difference between he and Roy Williams is, that's like the Grand Canyon of dislike.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said about anything associated with Kansas.
Yeah.
Does Jason know that you drove so 100 miles so you could pee on Kansas or something?
I do know that story. Actually, he shared that. I think the last
He's
time
very proud of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot of it's not great in there, and I that's okay. It's fandom can take over once in a while. Bad things happen, but it's like I said, I same thing for whoever the next coach is.
You recommended Steve Yoder as the next coach at Kansas. I don't know if he's still alive, but that would be a pretty good choice. But Don,
I don't care whoever it is, I hope they lose every game for 10 years and then go into a slump.
Yeah, I love Abe material. You got more. Keep going. You're just getting warmed up.
I feel like this is inappropriate on the back ends of talking nicely about.
This is Bob Harlan would never do this.
Showing a lot of range here.
Seems like a bit of a departure. And especially because Kevin went to KU, so that's I don't feel like we should maybe be delving into this right. I don't know this is the right time that we should be, celebrating the departure of Bill Self. But they'll find somebody to take that job up there on old Snob Hill. God bless them.
Yeah.
Dump of an arena.
I appreciate your passion. My good friend Chris Stiles, who played football at Kansas, always enjoys when you and I are together because he feels the same way about your school as you feel about his. Homer,
they should.
Yes, that's part of the beauty of it, right? That's like a rivalry.
So
there's no pleasantries there.
I had a kid come in my office the other day, and they were looking at Mizzou and recruiting, and I said, and he said that tomorrow I'm going over to Kansas, and I said, well, that's good for you. I hope, just so you know, they're horrible people. They're terrible. They're awful. You wouldn't want to go there. And hopefully they will say the same thing about us because that's what they should be saying. I did. Homer, here's the latest. You'll appreciate this. So there's a young man who was an intern. There's a young man who was an intern at ESPN. And he asked me to write him a letter of recommendation for a job at KU. And so, as always, always you put on the date, and then you put the professor, whatever his name was, Ben Simmons, and here is his office, and it's on Jayhawk Boulevard, Kansas. And so I put 1492 in parentheses, 1462, whatever that number was, and then I put in parentheses, I cannot type this word, Boulevard, and then underneath I put can't type this one either, and then put KS, and then the zip code, because I refused to type Jayhawk or Lawrence. So that was my latest. Hopefully the kid gets the job and they don't hold it against me.
There will be more. I look forward to the next one. You haven't lost your touch.
Not there. That's not going away anytime soon.
I'm glad we could get you
to high jumping as you were to hating Kansas, you would have done 7.5.
Oh, I'd have been the world record holder.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call it the Fosbury flop. They'd call it the Anderson flop.
2 inches taller than the other one. Someone who's going there, get the height of the other two. Doesn't have to be as big, doesn't have to be expensive. But I want to tell everyone, just know the tallest statue is Bob Harlan. So learn about him.
I'll put that on my to-do list. Thanks, Homer.
Bye.
That is Steve the Homer True as we reunite him. Reunite because it's the direct object of the reuniting. And John Anderson from their days together on the Homer Hour. I will be with Homer tonight on the Homer Hour, as I am on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. More with John Anderson, since we're now on the Tausch clock management plan, and we still need to finish up the 10 o'clock hour next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Nail Group. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news? A rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS created by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $150,000 in taxes, because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a plan, clarity, and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Don't miss a moment of the basketball tournament action this March at 3rd Street Market Hall. Home to your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination, 3rd Street Market Hall has over 20 locally owned food vendors, a self-serve beer wall with 24 beers on tap, over 50 HD TVs, and of course, game day specials. It's the perfect place to work remotely or catch a game between meetings or over lunch. 3rd Street Market Hall is the downtown home to basketball this March.
Win big with Quick Trip's Red Zone Midwest Tour. You could drive away in a 2026 Chevrolet Traverse Z71. Want in? Stop into Quick Trip. Purchase any qualifying fried chicken or Coca-Cola product with Quick Rewards, and you're automatically entered. Want to boost your odds? Grab both in the same stop, and you'll score 5 bonus entries. Full details at QuickTrip.com/Red Tour. Delicious chicken, ice-cold Coca-Cola, and one incredible ride. Quick Trip's Red Zone Midwest Tour.
March into big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Refresh your home this season with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, beautiful new siding, or a stunning bath remodel, and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings during their March savings event. But this offer won't last long. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com today. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
1896, Horicon Bank first opened its doors. Wisconsin wasn't even 50 years old.
We've maintained our roots over the years and yet expanded.
We empower our people to invest in the community. We give them 40 hours of volunteer time.
We're doing it with a personal touch, with a desire to say yes to our customers.
You shouldn't have to work with a bank that sends their profits to New York City or Toronto. You can keep your money here and it benefits Wisconsin.
Horicon Bank, together doing good for 130 years. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Thanks to Homer, as always. Certainly enjoy our time with him. One quick correction, though. As of now, there are no confirmed reports that Bill Self is, in fact, retiring. In fact, I searched for this, and a source close to Bill Self telling CBS Sports that that's bad information.
Again,
he
said he's leaning that way.
Yeah, it may only be
Here's
bad
the other reason I
information
know
for now.
The other reason I know that is not going to happen, or that isn't happened, is that I have not received 38 text messages from people I know. Right?
You feel like you might hear from some people if that was occurring?
I feel like a couple of. Who is that on your list? If somebody like who would have to go? Is it? I mean, LaFleur's business-like, so that doesn't count. Is there somebody in your life? Is there some coach? Is there some person? Is there some actor? If they passed away, like that, your friends would be like, "Oh man, I got to text Willie."
Yeah, but I don't. And by the way, we're not expecting Bill Self to pass away. Just leave the Kansas program. Yeah, I don't. It's a good question. I don't know who. You know, like obviously, if Barry Alvarez decided to make some sort of return to coaching. All of the guys that I went to college with would be, oh, my God, did you see this? Barry's going to be the head coach at Platteville, which would really be something, by the way. I would definitely be hearing from them on that. You know, at the same time, you know, I think I'd be curious who other coaches, because, look, I got a text message from somebody who's on the panel today as a cousin sub who referenced in his text that he's been waiting to hear that Matt LaFleur had been replaced, and that has not occurred. So, you know, you would have gotten a text from me if I got word of that, because I know you were thinking that maybe that was something that could and maybe should happen. All right, I want to get to the 11 o'clock hour because I want John Anderson to answer my question, which, if you've forgotten what it was, I asked it of Brian Bulaga as well. As of right now, on March 25th, what is the one thing about the Packers you feel really good about, best about, and what is the thing that concerns you the most? John Anderson will answer that question after I tell you about Walney Legal Group, which specializes in estate planning, which I need to do that. And as soon as my buddy Josh came to me with this possible business arrangement, I couldn't have said yes fast enough because I've been derelict in that duty, and I'm at an age that there's no excuse for it. But the team over at Walney Legal Group told me that I'm not alone in that. In fact, only 16% of people have the appropriate current planning documents. 16%. That's not good enough. And I'm part of the 84% that doesn't. So that's why you need Walney Legal Group. They offer a custom, personalized experience instead of the cookie-cutter, one-size-fits-all solutions. Their estate planning, they know that it's an uncomfortable necessity, but they make it a smooth, easy, and painless as possible transaction. They will take care of you from start to finish. That's why their motto is lawyering the way it should be, with clear communication, expertise, personal service, and a modern approach. So visit walneylegal.com to start a conversation, no matter what phase you're in. But if you're in that 84%, you need to do it. And I'm going to be going through the whole process with them in the coming weeks, and I look forward to sharing my experience with you as I do that. It's walneylegal.com. That is WALNY legal.com. The 11 o'clock hour with John Anderson, our cousin sub. Cousin Subs, we believe in better, starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Mark Tosher here. People ask, why did I join UW Credit Union? Well, let's break it down. Convenient local branches, easy to use mobile banking app, rewards checking with early payday, and that beautiful Bucky debit card. Also, they've been serving Wisconsin since 1931, which means they have local expertise that's actually local. So stop by a branch or visit uwcu.org to join today and become a UW Credit Union member like I did. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions apply.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is ready to slip someone into a green jacket. The next tournament of the season is here, and there's $1,000 in cash prizes. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellison, inviting you to a two-man scramble at Georgia Golf Club, all played on Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center's spacious, state-of-the-art simulators. Sign up now at wisconsindoorgolfcenter.com. It's just $120 per team, and all team must compete their round by March 31st. Who's walking away with the cash, and who's earning that green jacket?
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Come grow with us at Glenroy. For more than 6 decades, our family-owned company has built its reputation on quality, reliability, and providing strong career opportunities in our community. As the packaging industry rapidly grows, so does Glenroy. Here, you'll find competitive wages, a clean, modern workspace, fully vested 401k, yearly bonus award, and the chance to build a manufacturing career with purpose. Apply today at glenroy.com/careers. That's GLENROY.com/careers.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch with John Anderson. Our cousin sub of the day, cousin subs, we believe in better, begins now. Am I the only one? Now, this is an old movie, 1988, maybe? Mississippi Burning.
Yeah.
The pride of Appleton, Wisconsin, along with Gene Hackman. Who am I thinking of? The actor.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, thank you. Says, because I believe Hackman's character is Mr. Anderson. I believe he's trying to calm him down when he's very angry about some of the racists that he's dealing with. So when I want to ask a question of 7-2.5. I channel my inner Willem Dafoe and I say, Mr. Anderson. When you look at the Green Bay Packers as they are currently constructed in this moment, what exactly do you feel best about and what concerns you the most?
Feel best about the quarterback still, because it's the most important position on the field, and I think that guy's really capable. Like a little bit more consistency for sure now in this year, but I still think that's the best thing that's on the old, to borrow from Apollo 13, what do we have on this ship that's good? I believe I would take him as the thing that I would, that would be my tent pole. That's where I'm going to put that in the ground, decide that's my best thing. And the most concerning thing, if I go on the field, is always offensive linemen. I would like to always have more of those. Otherwise, I would say it's Matt LaFleur, because I just need to see if he can do better.
So let's delve into your feelings about the old ball coach a little bit, because I don't think you think he sucks. No. At the same time, I wouldn't say that you're a if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter, like the great line from Greece. Right. I wouldn't say you're a big supporter of his either. Is that fair?
I have lost some of my confidence in Matt LaFleur. I think he's shown in many cases that he's been able to develop players. I think Jordan Love's development has been better under him, Malik Willis. So I think there's good coaching there. But he has not shown me that once we get off of I don't know what his laminated script is, 15 plays, 20 plays. But once we get off that, it's a crapshoot in terms of what comes next. How, I don't know that and I've heard Peyton Manning say this, in-game adjustments are bunk. At halftime, all you do is eat orange slices and nobody really makes adjustments. He talks about that being oversold. Mm-hmm. But other teams seem to, once we get off that script, they seem to struggle to me. Then in the biggest games, how you can't protect leads, how these, whether it's little things, whether it is the Bears debacle the last two games, whether it is just before halftime against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on your own field, and you realize really the only thing they can do is probably throw it over your head. So you know what we should do? Not let them throw it over your head. And they throw it over your head. Mm-hmm. That you lose those playoff games at what I think both times you're favored, lose playoff games at homes, big games like that, the playoffs. I just feel like there's something there that is missing, and much like Kyler Murray, I've seen enough of it to know it hasn't gotten better. If anything, it seems to have gotten worse in those situations. And so that's why I guess I just feel like at some point, right now I see Matt LaFleur like me betting on Sergio Garcia in the majors. I'm going to say no until he finally wins one. Then I go, boy, I'm wrong. Of course, my record is 140-1, but right. I'm wrong. So I would like to be wrong, but even at that, I'm going to be like, 12-3 if I'm wrong. And so that is I just see some game management things, the way things go, the lack of intensity, the fact they can't play two halves together. All those are more coaching than specific player development things, because he's clearly had some success there, But I watch how you make this brilliant game plan when you put in Malik Willis and you run it a billion times and they know you're going to run it against Indy, and yet you're effective to the tune of whatever it was, 180 yards in the first half. And then the next week you go to, I believe it was Nashville, and everybody's like, okay, here we go again. We're going to run it 50 times and throw it 10, and you come out slinging it, right? So he's shown that he can do a bunch of this stuff. I would like him to do it for the full game, for a full season. I'd really like to see him do it in January, And I think that's where my disconnect with him is. Or my lack of faith in some of that is.
No, and I'm really glad that we did this because, and I have not looked at the YouTube comments of late, but I would be willing to bet that there are a few folks in there that are saying, hallelujah, praise the Lord baby Jesus that John Anderson has said some things that I believe, but Wilde and Tausch never say. Because, I don't think I'm an overly guilty apologist for Matt LaFleur, but I certainly could be accused of making excuses for the Bears game, right? I mean, they give up 25 points in the fourth quarter, a defense that, I am also a Jeff Hafley guy, but I keep pointing to, you did not have Micah Parsons. You never won another game after he got hurt. And then on top of that, you lose Edgerrin Cooper during the third quarter, and after you don't have him on the field in what was his best game of the year. Like Edgerrin Cooper, you know this from doing shows with Homer, that was Homer's guy during his rookie year. And then he had minimal impact. He was just a guy for most of this past season, and he was having an impact against the Bears. And then he departs, and I feel like he was just, that was that one bridge too far for them. Defensively. But again, even without him, you shouldn't blow a 25-point. You shouldn't give up 25 points in the fourth quarter. I don't have a problem with that criticism.
My small rebuttal to that would be that the Packers, every time the Bears scored, the Packers got the ball on offense.
They did.
With the personnel that scored, with the same group that had a bang-up first half that suddenly looked like they didn't know what end of the ball to throw, with the same guy who allegedly developed the game in the first half. So while, yes, they faced some challenges, they managed to, for the better part of 50 minutes of that game, control everything without Micah Parsons, without everybody, right? So they had it there.
And it adds to your point. This is perfect for your point, though, right? Because everything's cooking first half offensively. Their 4 possessions to start the second half are punt, 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 punt. They get 1 first down, 1. And that was when the Bears adjusted and brought more pressure instead of rushing with 4, and the Packers didn't have answers. And they didn't protect their quarterback very well. And Matt LaFleur didn't have answers. So that, I would say, only buttresses your argument about the fact that his adjustment work leaves something to be desired. I think it's a great example.
I'm not here to kill the guy. I get it.
No, I know.
I do think you are. I'm in a safer place to say, right? I either am in Columbia, Missouri, or I'm out, peeking out the window at the ocean here in South Carolina, right? And I don't have to go into that locker room every day. But I do think, and which isn't to say that you and Tao sugarcoat things or all that other stuff, because you do have to go in and see him every day. But I just think those are valid criticisms of what's happened. And I think he realizes that. I think he's addressed some of those things, so I'm not here to burn a guy. And just, I get coaching's hard, and the other side's on scholarship too. And I don't know that the Bears guy, Johnson, who's the head
Ben
coach
Johnson.
Ben Johnson is just, I don't know that he's the second coming of any great coach. He's nice. He's had some success. We'll see what happens, right? It's kind of like, I really like our coach in Detroit, who's there. But now, that's the thing too. The Packers with the Lions with Dan Campbell. Here we are. We've had this ascension. Okay, but can you do it like this? The Packers? Think about it. The Packers have been 3 decades, right? Sure, they had an 8-8 year Ray Warrows. We get rid of that. Then you had a little dip with Sherman. We got rid of that. There's always been a small dip, but the last time, was it just before LaFleur came that they missed 2 years in a row, right? It's just. To go back to Harlan and Wolf, it's astonishing in this NFL with parity and all that other stuff, the run they've had. So while everybody's going to get excited, Ben Johnson did this in year 1, and Dan Campbell did this. Okay, cool. You know what? Talk to me in 2050 and see where we're at. I know that sounds dumb, but there's some truth to that, right? Literally. Okay, Bears, let's see what happens in 2050. Where are you? Or are you starting Henry Burris again at quarterback, and you don't know what the hell's going on? Right. So there's nothing to be said for all the success Matt LaFleur has. You just wonder, okay, are you the guy? Can you push that next step? And again, history's going to show when you've been there 6, 7, 8 years, that doesn't usually happen. But if it does, good. Now you'll be the trendsetter and you're on your way. But right now I got to kind of see it. And apparently I've got to see it, for a year or two or more, depending on the extension. Not that I think that's a deterrent to if they blow up and, that they can get out of that pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, they've had
that's my thing. And when you do that, if that's, in my critique is, then literally we're going to go through this whole regular season. Great. But for him, there's literally, in my scenario, there's no upside in the regular season. You got to go to the playoffs.
Right.
If you don't, now you're really a disaster. But, and that could be more of a one-off. But until you get to January, and here we are again, and hopefully are not 7-seeded Packers, understanding that's a tough road. You got to go on the road. You got to, that's not the most ideal position to go ahead and try to win a game from. But that's where they've been 3 years running now. And so I think there's some issues because even when they were number 1 seeds, they weren't able to convert that on their home field.
No.
And all those things to me are troubling.
To your point, the Packers always make the playoffs, right? Back-to-back playoff-less years were 99-2000, 05-06, and then 17-18 and look, they don't miss the playoffs in 17 if Rodgers doesn't break his collarbone. I mean, they make the playoffs that year. They missed it in 18 with the dysfunction, and it was time for Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy to go their separate ways. But, yeah, playoffs are certainly
but they're back, baby.
Sufficient.
Now, that's better than Homer and Anderson. When those two get together, now I'm watching.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now I'm going to watch.
I'm eager to see. I am all in on that as well. All right, we need to play trivia. So the professor can grade my TV appearance during Whoa Nelly. Jesse, yesterday was Iowa trivia. Could it be? Could it be?
Usually on Wednesdays we do Wisconsin Geography Wednesdays, but we don't want Tausch to miss out on the fun because he loves Wisconsin geography. So it is Missouri Geography Wednesday with John Anderson filling in. We're not going to go super in-depth. If you know generally anything about the state of Missouri, you should be in good shape here. We have a perfect week going, by the way. Missouri Geography is today's trivia category.
All right, we'll take caller 10, 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776, and we'll do it like we do it with Tausch. We will ask the contestant the question. Then before we give the correct answer, we will see if John Anderson agrees or disagrees, Hollywood Squares style, although in the reverse. Caller 10 plays trivia, presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The Brew Crew are back on March 26th.
Turio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they open up the season against the Chicago White Sox.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness, third deck.
Brewers opening day is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in March 26th at 1:10 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee or check your local listings to watch the game.
Calling all seafood lovers, the Lobster Salad Sub is officially back at Cousin Subs. Fresh lobster mixed with our creamy signature mayo, topped with tomato and onion, served over crisp lettuce and finished with a sprinkle of Old Bay. All on our fresh-baked Italian bread. It's a crave-worthy classic you can enjoy in store, online, or on the app, but only through April 5th. So catch it while you can. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
One of the most important concepts in sports is don't drop the ball. Are you dropping the ball with your estate plan? When was it last updated? Have you even done one at all? It's ESPN Wisconsin's Jason Wilde for Walney Legal Group. There's a lot at stake for you and your family when it comes to wills, trusts, probate, and elder planning. At Walney Legal, that's all they do. Tailored documents. No confusing legal jargon. Just thoughtful guidance. Do the blocking and tackling to protect your family. Start a conversation today at WalneyLegal.com.
$2.3 million. A recent Schwab survey of Americans says that it takes $2.3 million to be wealthy. Well, you may have had your financial plan set on a bigger or a more humble number. But if you're looking for added insights on how to get there or how to avoid some tax pitfalls on the way, Annex Wealth Management is ready to listen. Mark Tauscher here, and whether your situation is complex or simple, the Annex Wealth Management team can give you wealth expertise and guidance on reaching your goals. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
We have standards in Wisconsin. Cheese should squeak. Sports and tailgating go hand in hand with brats aplenty. And beef is a delicacy where each bite makes you close your eyes for a second. For 50 years, Bunzel's has been hand-selecting the finest beef, making homemade specialty sausages, and crafting award-winning jerky right here at home. Because Wisconsin is still cattle country, quality isn't optional. It's expected. And after 5 decades, Bunzel's still delivers. Stop in today at 90th and Burleigh or at bunzels.com.
At Saturn Lounge, we know if your marketing actually worked, you would know. Your website would perform, not just exist. Your storytelling would inspire, not fall flat. Your integrated campaigns would create impact, not excuses. There'd be no refreshing dashboards, no waiting on a report to explain what happened. It's time to generate quality leads and turn them into customers. Let's make it happen with Saturn Lounge, your marketing partner for clear, measurable results. Visit us today at SaturnLounge.com. When marketing works, it shows.
He's a husband, a dad, owner of a gym. He's also a police officer. Staying strong and pain-free isn't optional. It's safety. That's why David Boardman's a QC Kinetics patient.
My job is dependent on my physical ability and my physical fitness so that I can protect myself, so that I can go home safe to my family at the end of the night.
But severe knee pain nearly took that away. Doctors said surgery, shut down the workouts. David needed another option. That was QC Kinetics. They told him,
we're going to give you the opportunity to have not 1, but 2 healthy knees, and we don't have to cut you open.
They used David's own healing tools in his blood to help restore his knees. Regenerative treatments right in the office.
Since I've gone to them, I run 20, 30 miles a week.
Trust the team helping active people avoid surgery. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. 414-240-2298.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Before we get to trivia, Kansas City Star via text message from Bill Self on retirement rumors. No news, all BS, bad info. Not to be confused with bad toupees.
Well, yeah, or plugs.
Time now for trivia presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs.
Wilde and Tausch Trivia is brought to you by Iron Jock, performance apparel that actually performs. No stink, just performance, and proudly Wisconsin built. Shop now at ironjock.com. And by Cousin Subs. It's lobster season at Cousin Subs. Their lobster salad sub is fresh, flavorful, and only here for a limited time. Try it today.
Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Brian in Williams Bay. Brian, good morning. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to be back.
It's been a while. We're excited. Go ahead.
I had a phone issue where I was without a phone for a month, and I finally got a new one, so now I can talk.
Well, we're happy to have you back. Have you ever lived in the great state of Missouri?
I drove through it once.
Okay, well, we'll see how much that helps you in Missouri trivia. John Anderson will not help you, Brian.
Nor will Brian Anderson.
Although maybe he's got his voice back, which would help him do his job more effectively. And we love him. All right, question number 1, Brian, is this. What is the capital of Missouri? Is it Jefferson City, Washington City, or Kansas City?
Jefferson City.
John Anderson, agree or disagree? Well, I guess we've got the bell. All right.
True. Right there on the banks of the river. Right there on the banks of the Missouri River.
Question 2.
What's the deal with Kansas City where it's in both?
It's like
Yeah.
Springfield. There's 100 of them. It just happens to be across the border.
Question 2, Brian. Which of these cities is a tourist destination in Missouri located in the middle of the Ozark Plateau? The Ozark Plateau. Is it Branson, St. Charles, or Bentonville? These appear to be relatively easy from what I'm gathering.
I told you, if you knew general information about Missouri, you'd be in good shape with these.
So what you're saying is you didn't put in a whole lot of effort.
John, any big nights in Branson for you yet?
I am not a Branson guy, thanks. St. Charles, though, is the first capital of the city of Missouri. And Bentonville's in Arkansas. That's cool.
Yep.
Isn't that where, like, Walmart started?
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. All right, Brian. Question 3 is this. Which of these is true of Columbia, Missouri, the home of the University of Missouri? Is it A, Columbia is located farther north than St. Louis? Is it B, Columbia is located farther south than Kansas City? Or is it C, both statement A and statement B are true?
I'll go A.
Columbia is located farther north than St. Louis is true.
Yep.
Unfortunately, so is the statement that Columbia is located farther south than Kansas City. Sneaky Jesse Nelson.
I did not know that before looking at a map this morning.
Not by much, though. It's pretty
You got me,
shot.
Jesse.
It's marginal on both fronts, but it is true of both.
Well, Brian, our perfect week comes to an end on the 9th question of the week, so a good run. We appreciate you playing. You got 3 of the possible 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Good to hear from you again.
The
Glad
last
you got
time
the phone situation resolved.
The last time I won was when I won pickles, and they were wonderful, but that should show you how long it was.
It's been a while
It's been a minute
since you won Wilde and Tausch Trivia. Well, good luck.
Great to
Thanks
hear
for
from
playing.
you, and
We
enjoy
appreciate
this
your loyalty to the
beautiful
show. All right, you too. That
love
is
you
Wilde and
guys.
Tausch Trivia presented by Iron Jock and Cousin Subs. We're a little bit behind on the shot clock, so we will get to Won't Nelly next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Canty.
His 4th game last night, 25 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. That's tied for the most for any player since Tim Duncan, 2001, 2002. Tim Duncan had 5. You know what else Tim Duncan got in 2001, 2002? An MVP. So I'm just saying, Victor Wembanyama, he has the numbers, but when you watch his impact on the game, it's beyond the statistics. And I think that's why he has a really strong case to win MVP. And I said before the season even started, if this dude is awards eligible, if he meets the 65-game minimum to qualify for postseason accolades, then he's going to be the MVP. And it will be that way from henceforth, because we are on the verge of this being Wemby's world, Wemby's NBA, and everybody else living in it.
During Lowe's Pro Savings Days, the job works in your favor. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members buy more and save more on materials they rely on every day. Get up to 25% off select molding when you spend $1,000 or more, and up to 25% off Pergo Evercraft laminate flooring. Put Pro Savings Days to work for you. Members get more at Lowe's. Valid through 3/27. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Visit the Pro Desk or Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it Fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Looking for a dinner that actually impresses and cocktails that keep the conversation going? Head to the second floor of St. Kate the Arts Hotel and discover the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails. Bold, elevated dinners, thoughtfully crafted cocktails. It's the kind of place where every plate and every pour is made with intention. Come for dinner, stay for another round. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
Mark Tauscher here for Iron Jock. As a former athlete, I've worn just about every type of workout gear there is, and nothing compares to Iron Jock. Their performance apparel is built to fight sweat, odor, and bacteria, keeping you feeling fresh no matter how hard you push. From the gym to the pickleball court, Iron Jock keeps you dry, comfortable, and confident. Upgrade to Iron Jock. Available now at ironjock.com.
Brewers baseball is back, and there's only one way to celebrate, with a Surfside iced tea and vodka or a Surfside lemonade and vodka. Smooth, refreshing, and made for game day, Surfside is the perfect match for a day at the ballpark or catching the game at home. Surfside is only 100 calories with 0 bubbles, so it goes down easy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 plus. Please drink responsibly.
Feeling lucky? Then roll into Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee this March for Lucky Rollers. Every Thursday, we're giving away over $70,000 in prizes. Play with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries, and you could roll out with $550 in reward play. Or get lucky and win your share of $16,000 in cash. Lucky Rollers, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Without further ado, it's time for Nelly.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning, I had breakfast at Tracy Rocco's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I got to stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Well, since we have the Professor John Anderson in as our cousin sub of the day, there's nothing I'd like to do more than critique Jason's work. So,
That's a really good setup, by the way.
Here,
I just made a few. I only have a few notes that I made.
Wow.
It should be
For those who have not seen,
I don't know. Maybe it's this one.
Oh my gosh! For those who have not seen it yet, here is the aforementioned earlier in the show, Jason's report on.
Seemed like a good idea when I suggested it. Now suddenly I don't really like it that much.
Courtesy of Channel3000.com, Jason's minute-long feature on the memorial ceremony for the late, great Bob Harlan.
Before Packers general manager Ron Wolf went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2015, the team honored him by placing his name over my left shoulder near that American flag. Once he went into the hall, they had to move his name to where all the other Packers Hall of Famers are here at Lambeau Field. So it's oddly appropriate that now the Packers will be putting Bob Harlan's name in that location where Ron's once was, because it was Ron Wolf's hiring that changed everything for the Packers.
For Bob Harlan to take a chance on me and to give me this opportunity, again, as I said, it's a once-in-a-lifetime place, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'll never forget.
Wolf was one of several Packers legends who were here today at Lambeau Field to celebrate the life of Bob Harlan, who passed away on March 5th at age 89. Super Bowl winning head coach Mike McCarthy was here, and he spoke along with both of the Packers presidents that followed Bob Harlan. Mark Murphy, now retired, and new team president at Policy.
Wow.
Winner. Nice.
I should have sent you the raw video, though, of the lights going out. Like you know how like a TV screen, like in the old school TVs, when it would die, the picture would just crackle and then explode and disappear. That's what happened on the scoreboard to the Bob Harlan pronouncement. And all the lights, boom, out they went, which was a highlight.
Oh, over my left shoulder was a nice touch at the start, I thought, to set the scene. That was good.
I was trying to give the right location. I walked around that entire stadium trying to get that framed up, by the way, which also cost me the time of the lighting being up.
So, Professor John Anderson, your critique of Jason Wilde's work for the class.
So you're by yourself, right?
Yeah, my framing.
So that makes it hard. Right? It would be nice to have somebody to frame you up because we got a little too much headspace. It's nice we got Bob in there, but we got a little too much headspace, video-wise. I saw the lead-in that you gave me. Did you have to? You said you did this for more than one place.
Yeah, I had to move then because I couldn't.
No, I just mean because I would have liked to have said hey, thanks Bob and June, or thanks Freddie. But if you had to send it to more than one station or one outlet, correct. I can see that.
Well, and there is an outro there, where I say who I am, but Jesse chopped that in the interest of time.
That's fine. So here's the thing. You look great. We're fine. It's outdoors. You can wear that. I don't need a tie. It's cold. I get that. You're bundled up. We got a couple of flyaways, but that's fine. We got those fixed in the outro. You look great. You look that. Here's the two critiques I would have as a journalism professor. Yeah, we got a couple of flyaways, but go look at the end. It's fine. In the end, he combed it up, and we look good again.
Looks like a writer schlup.
Right.
Very schlumpy, yes.
So it's a little confusing. You say if you can see over the left shoulder and you point to this big blackness, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Right?
The lighting would have been helpful. It was much better for the 5 o'clock hit, by the way.
Perfect, right? In this one, I think he just pointed over his wrong shoulder because Bob Harlan's name is
was
over
the wrong shoulder after further review.
No, no. So if you look in that corner, it's my left shoulder. That is where it's on the facade, a little bit lower than where the Hall of Famers are. But continue.
But Bob's name is over there.
Well, yeah, but that's on the scoreboard just for today.
It's very confusing.
You're pointing to nothing. So you're pointing to nothing.
Point at row C.
And then you tell me on top of the nothing you can't see, there's another place of nothing that I can't see. We're removing his name. And just as somebody who's watching, now literally instead of listening to you, I'm literally distracted trying to think what that looks like.
Where is that?
Right? So I should be thinking, I'm trying to picture where that is, and now I'm not listening to you, and that's bad. I want to listen to you. Oh, yeah, there it is. I can see it right now. So that part's troubling, is that you're pointing and talking about something I can't see. And we're not very smart people. It's like when we put too many numbers in a lead-in, people can't follow it. That's why we have all the fancy graphics, because otherwise, unless you say Wilt Chamberlain 100. And then the other part I would say you told me who was there, McCarthy, and you told me that the presidents were there. But, okay, I'm not here for the attendance roll call. Tell me something that somebody said. That all three of those guys talked about what a great guy he was. Or all of them said how important he was instead of just listing them. Or I liked what you said much earlier in our conversations today, where you could have literally said, hey, all the biggies were here. McCarthy was here. Murphy was here. I don't care that they're past presidents or current. We know who they are. Policy. But the people who really were here that loved him were the baddies, the mailroom lady, and all those other things. I think that would have, one of those 2 points I would have driven home. Not just that these guys were here. Give me just one thing they said.
It's a good critique.
He would have loved that all these people that you don't know came because they loved and respected the guy so much.
Which ended up being my story in written form, and that was exactly my lead. But yes, I wish I would have thought of that earlier.
I get it. We have time constraints and we have video constraints because the lights go out, or you're one man, you're trying to frame it yourself. Like, I get all those kind of things that happen. It sucks. By the way, I love that Wolf said he felt fortunate that he took a chance on him, because your track record was like, yeah, we're taking a flyer on this guy. Oh my gosh, I hope this works. That Raider thing could have been a fluke for a decade and a half. I can't believe he said that. Oh, I'm just really happy he took a chance on me.
That has been Journalism 101 with the professor,
that was
John
wonderful.
Anderson. We will. This was more a 301 level class. We will wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.